Open that up. Open that up. What the Get the in! Put your hands up! Don't you
This isn't just a tragedy. It's one of the most chilling failures of humanity, captured on police footage.
If we lose control and we're not in control, that's not good, because our job is to bring control and peace to the situation.
She actually been living her life with these babies in the trunk and sleeping in the car too, like they were trash.
I don't believe that mental health excuses people from all crime.
You have trauma-bound individuals now, police officers that are carrying weapons.
If we lose control at the scene, then who's going to be in control? If we got to stop and take care of each other, how do we take care of the other people?
Hill of Justice is sponsored and produced by Jermaine Delmas Studios. Imagine this. A mother, desperate, overwhelmed, entrusts her children to her sister, only for that sister to brutally end their lives, and then carry their decaying bodies in her car for months. This isn't just a tragedy. It's one of the most chilling failures of humanity, captured on police footage. That's Victor Hill. I'm Jerome Hill, and we're your hosts of Hill of Justice. So, brother, we have something that is bananas. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, let's talk about the individual, Nicole Johnson, that will be featured on the video. So we have her. She's the aunt. She's the caretaker. And the woman who was entrusted with the two children, 7-year-old Jocelyn and 5-year-old Larry. The children's mother, who was overwhelmed and thought that she was doing the right thing and leaving them with her. But Nicole had a past. And with that past, she had a drug problem. She was behind on rent. She was kicked out of hotels and basically struggling mentally and physically. I believe she was also prostituting on top of that. So there was a lot of people that knew about this. Everybody ignored these red flags. Every single person either ignored the red flags or believed it wasn't their place to intervene or speak up. And thus, she was basically a walking red billboard. Forget about red flags. These are the type of things that we run up on all the time as police officers. But this is going to take a harrowing turn. And for some, you're going to find this very disturbing. So before we get into the clip, as we set it up, I'm sure you've seen individuals like this in your career. What was some of the thoughts as before we take a look at the clip that was in your mind while you were watching this?
Well, I can tell you this. We got a mental health crisis in this country. And what we're doing is not effective enough to deal with the situation. Like you said, there had to be a lot of red flags, a lot of warnings. And this is a person that probably shouldn't even have been on the streets, let alone taking care of kids. We also got to question the sister. What made her think it was a good idea to give her kids to her sister, who obviously had mental health problems, and who knows, maybe she has mental health issues too. If she thought that was
we're going to get into that a little bit
exactly.
later. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that's my thoughts there. As far as it's a mental health crisis, and this right here is just another unfortunate and very, very tragic incident of when are we going to stop talking about it and do something about it.
Right. So Baltimore County Police pulls over Nicole for she was speeding. She was speeding. She had fake tags. I mean, she was just riding completely dirty. Okay. She admits that she doesn't even have a driver's license. So the officer uses discretion and decides to write her tickets and tow the vehicle. And he advises her, hey, guess what? We're going to go ahead and do an inventory search of the vehicle. And an inventory search is just for officers to document and itemize stuff in the car. So it protects the officer and the towing company from false claims of missing items. So we got that situation going on. So she oddly, on the video, which we won't be showing, brags that y'all going to see me on the news while signing for the tickets. And she's just telling people she won't be going to court. So a little foreshadowing. She is told that she's allowed to take some items from the car. And the trunk is packed with tight bound linen, a suitcase. And then it gets a little bit palpitating. It's a tote and an unmistakable smell of decay. He doesn't want to tip off, of course, the two occupants of the car. So it was Nicole Johnson and a woman by the name of BB, I believe. Now, just to give everyone some context, BB has mental health issues, okay? And she's unaware of what's going on, but she's in the car. But then it just, it as you saw in the video, she then starts, the officer does a good job. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave it right there. But they're alarmed, okay? And he goes about saying, that don't smell like dirty clothes, because that's what she's trying to give off, right? That's in the video, as you saw. She was like, just saying, this is dirty clothes, this is just soiled stuff. But that line in itself, that's the moment when everything changes. Let's look at the clip.
And this is what smells, Rita.
What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
Dirty thing?
No. Pull it out. Pull it.
Dirty thing from my husband.
Pull the whole bag out.
I am. My husband just said the dirty thing is from my husband. I am. See?
Take it out.
Take the bag out.
Take that bag out of there.
I am.
Okay. Pull that bag out. There you go. Open that bag up.
Don't pussy close. Don't pussy close. See? Pussy close. All pussy close.
Open it up, ma'am.
I did.
Unroll the whole thing.
What? Open that up. Open that up. What the f***? Get the f*** in! Put your hands up! Don't you Turn over right now! You want the rest? Don't you move! Don't you move! Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back!
What I do?
What the f***?
It's not mine.
What the f***? What the f***?
What I do? What I do?
Give me your other hand! Now!
41110 direct Eastern Boulevard and Wagner's Lane.
I don't want to hear it! I don't want to hear it! Get up! On your feet! Roll over! Sit on your butt! Stand up!
Deviation on the channel.
We don't need
Don't need air. We got 2 in custody right now, but we need a supervisor.
Please don't. No, please
I
don't.
swear to God, if you move, so help me.
Please not arrest her. Please don't arrest her. She don't have anything to do with
Direct
nothing.
on that.
She really don't have anything to do with nothing. I will give y'all every name
2357.
to everybody.
I don't want to hear it.
Please don't arrest her.
With both women in custody, the officers struggle to process the horror they've just witnessed.
No, stay. Hey, no. Calm down. Calm down. Relax. Have her sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
I know.
Relax.
Excuse me.
You relax.
BB, just relax, BB.
Keep your mouth closed.
I
didn't give you permission to talk. Sit down and be quiet. You okay?
I'm trying, man.
You okay? No. Listen, I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down. I'm trying. No, I need you to focus. Listen, calm down. I need you to focus. Focus on her. Hey, get over there with her Put your mask on. Put your mask on.
Put your mask on. Mask up. You're under arrest.
Gloves, everything.
Okay. Everybody should have gloves and a mask on.
What, man, yo? What's in there, bro? It's a baby, yo. Come on. Please. Relax, bro. I'm here. I need you to breathe. Good instincts. Okay. I need you to breathe, okay? I'm good. I need you to.
I'm sorry. Lots to unpack there.
A lot.
Give me some of your observations of what you saw.
Okay, again, we're dealing with a mental health crisis all the way around. Obviously, the woman they arrested, we know there's mental health issues there. You already confirmed that the girl in the car had mental health issues. But what we also got to look at the situation is look at the officer that's having an emotional breakdown saying it's a baby. And I'm not criticizing or whatever like that, but I just got to speaking earlier saying that I think it's very, very important that, law enforcement officers are screened when they first come in. And you and I've talked about this, and I think they need to be screened at least every 6 months because they see a lot of trauma. And no doubt, who knows what these officers have seen even before this incident. It may not have been as dramatic as this. It may have been an adult or whatever. But the reaction of that officer is very, very, it's heartbreaking. And of course, it's going to be people, well, they're human too. And I get that. I'm not saying I'm superhuman or whatever, but, I spent a decade in homicide. And I saw a lot of dead children and under some very, very horrible situations. And, our job is to be in control. And if we lose control and we're not in control, that's not good because our job is to bring control and peace to the situation. So we're not supposed to lose it at the scene. And I know some people think that's too hard of a bar, but it can't be because that's what we're there to do. So I'm not criticizing him for losing it at the scene, but obviously, I would suggest that he get some type of screening to make sure he's dealing with that situation appropriately and able to recover.
Oh, for sure.
But also, he has to be screened because he got many more years to come. And I can tell you, in my time in law enforcement, that's a tip of the iceberg. I've seen a lot of things from people dismembered in 9 pieces to whatever. And if we lose control at the scene, then who's going to be in control? If we got to stop and take care of each other, how do we take care of the other people?
Well, that's true on that end of it. And shout out to Officer Thompson. To his credit, he was the hero because he would not let that go. You may not be able to see it in the video, but he was persistent. He was knowing that there was something amiss.
Yes.
And thus, he tried to, the best way, calm down that officer.
He did.
But that's not the only thing that kept on persisting at that moment. You have trauma-bound individuals now, police officers that are carrying weapons. And it makes for, as you try to allude to, a tinderbox of craziness that could happen. It did not. But what I'm going to show you is the next clip, and you can see how it unfolds, and we'll unpack that.
Hard to contain.
O Allah, seek thy refuge in you from the whisperings of an accursed devil who whispers into the hearts of men.
Can I talk to you for a second?
No. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Please, I'm not ready.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Excuse me.
Where?
Stop.
Make sure.
Go take a break. Go over there. Go ahead. Be good.
Excuse me.
Where?
Excuse me.
Ma'am, stop talking.
Be quiet.
Stop talking. We'll talk to you when we need to.
Please be quiet.
Enough.
Bruh, I'm scared to look, and I ain't.
Please be quiet.
Just turn around. Okay.
So what are you guys taking me from?
Oh no.
Get her out of here. Get her out of here.
Get up. Get up.
No.
More officers begin to arrive and can only guess at what has the other officers in such a sickened state.
I'm gonna say pepper spray happened.
No. It's a that baby not back.
What? Hey, you come back.
Let's go, cool.
It looks like a kid that's curled up in there. I don't want to look, man. Nope. Just wait.
Hold up for a minute. Something just happened there.
There's a lot there, Jerome. Okay.
Yeah, there is.
I was just on a show last night, and they were like, "Hey, loosen up. Hey, do you have any emotions or whatever?" That has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Of course, we're hurt that they're children, and even if it wasn't a child, it's anybody in a trunk, whether it's an elderly person or adult person. To think that someone would kill someone and put them in the trunk of a car and ride around them is a sad situation. There's a lot to come to mind here. Number one, there's a very distinct smell with dead bodies, and you don't have to work homicide to know that. All you got to do is be a patrolman. We've all had to go and kick in doors of people that their relatives haven't seen in days, and you know the smell. The last homicide I worked was actually a body in a trunk, and it was a suspicious car. The guy disappeared. And when I saw the flies in the window and I reached and I smelled the trunk before we even popped the lock, I already knew, okay, there's a body in there. There's a very specific smell. So, and once you smell it, you know it. And so, like you said, the officer did a good job. And I think that's what his instincts were, that he knew something was wrong. Because like you said, he said, that doesn't smell like what she said it was. And I think what he was saying, but he was probably like, no, that can't be. And maybe he thought that way because it's a small bag, but then it turns out it was his child. But, there's we're talking about her mental health. There's a lot of officers out there losing it. And
that's a chain reaction of seeing the other officers behaving in that way, when they should have been as stoic as possible, understanding what the situation was, and probably even giving a heads up before the officers were coming into this crime scene. That's my take on that. If we got people coming in for a shooting, right?
Yeah,
we're going to let them know, hey, there's an active shooter right here. Somebody should have gave these guys a heads up what's about to happen.
But you got to understand, there's one cop that's saying, I don't want to look.
Yeah, they were scared.
There were several scared to
witness that.
That worries me. What I was saying on the shows on last night, I was saying, listen, when I was a sheriff, well, I can't even do it now, but I said, I can't have emotional breakdowns when I was a sheriff. That's not allowed. And I'm like, why not? Because I can't. If I arrive to the scene and the officer's dead or there's some tragedy, if I have an emotional breakdown, now what? My officers got to take care of me and walk me somewhere and sit me down. At that point, I'm like, for lack of a better term, I'm daddy. If you can't look to me for guidance and leadership and stability, well, who are we gonna look to? But that buck doesn't stop with me; it just stops with me. Whoever gets there before me, whether it's the sergeant, the lieutenant, the captain, the major, has to take command and control. And you can't take command and control unless you're in control of yourself. Before you can control others, you have to control yourself. Before you can control a scene, you have to control yourself. Now, that's not an indictment on them as people, but that could be an indictment on the leadership, that not just at that department, but as a whole. I think we got to do better screening and better training with officers, because it's a job where you see all types of things that can cause trauma, from car accidents. You know what it's like. You respond to a car accident. There are people sometimes get dismembered in car accidents. Through the windshield. You're going to see this stuff. If you're not mentally prepared to deal with this, there is no way you're going to be a patrolman unless you're in Mayberry and not see a level of carnage, even if it's an accident and not an actual murder. And sometimes the people in the car who die are babies and kids.
Right. And what threw me off was the fact that just to give everyone a little taste of what was going on. This happened in Essex. That's in Baltimore County, in Maryland, and just that is just right outside of the city of Baltimore. Okay, that is an area where there is a tremendous amount of criminality going on. Okay. And it should be no surprise as many bodies that drop in the city, and maybe not so much in the county, but you still got your fair amount. And for them to have this visceral reaction like they did, it was just a little bit odd to me. I get it. Inside were the bodies of Jocelyn, and she had been dead for over a year. Larry, it was about 2 months for him. And just to put this in context, Nicole had been driving around. She actually been living her life with these babies in the trunk and sleeping sleeping in the car too, like they were trash. Jocelyn was 7 years old. When they looked at her and did the autopsy, she only weighed 18 pounds at the time of the discovery. That's roughly the average weight of a 9-month-old infant. So we know that it was much more than her being killed. There was, and I think you would agree with me, that child was malnourished on top of that. I mean, to get to that state. And then we had Larry, the younger child. He was 5 years old, and he just weighed 21 pounds. That's like a 2-year-old toddler.
Let me ask you a question. What was the cause of death with the autopsy?
All right. So, because of the decomp of the bodies, okay, and what she admitted to, she did admit that she was trying to discipline the children. And for Jocelyn, over a year that she's been riding around with this body, she claimed that she was trying to discipline her because she went to the refrigerator to get some food. Yeah, she wouldn't she? If you're malnourishing her.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it, there were incidents where people had saw those kids in decline. Nobody talked.
That's what I was getting ready to get to next.
Right? And then you got the 5-year-old, obviously, she said just one day, he was just unresponsive. He had an injury to his legs, and then he wouldn't wake up from his sleep. So what's rich about all this is, as you know, she was running errands for months and tricking for money, but the questions come back, and what does it take for someone to live like this? How much hate do you have to have, to live in this way? And how come you could become so numb to this? And she was.
Right. Now, there's another discussion here too. We talk about the jails becoming a mental health facility, and then people who shouldn't be in jail, that should be in mental health. Now, in a situation like this, I beg to differ. She should be in jail. Now, she should be getting mental health treatment while she's in jail, but she should be in jail. Let me tell you why. I don't believe that mental health excuses people from all crimes. Okay, I think in order for it to reach that level, you would have to prove the person they don't know right from wrong. The fact that she took off running, she knew it was wrong. Because the minute he saw the body, she realized, I'm getting ready to go to jail. She took off running. So she knew what she was doing. Does she have mental health issues and need treatment? Yes. But that wouldn't be a situation where if I was a judge, I would say forego the criminal charges and it's mental health treatment.
That's psychopathic behavior she has.
Exactly. Now, she probably will qualify. At the end of the day, the only way for us to solve this mental health problem is people like her have to get long-term to permanent care, There's some people like her that can never be in society. They have to be in some type of mental health detention center, for lack of a better term, for their safety and the safety of everybody around them. That's not necessarily a jail, but that's what has to happen. But in order for it to work, it has to be people like that officer. There's a lot of officers, they wouldn't have went that far. They probably would have been, I don't like the way this smell, get out of here, or whatever. Or he could have not say open the bag. He could have been like, get out of here, and have her walked off with a bag and didn't realize that there were bodies of children in there. But there has to be officers that when they see stuff like that, take action. And the public has to do, because like you said, there had to been a lot of telltale signs there, but most people just don't want to get involved. Like the other case we covered with a woman that was doing an exorcist on her son, and he's in the house dead for a month or so. It had to be, and then finally a month later, what a teacher says, hey, he hasn't been to school. We've got to be more proactive.
Oh, let me
Unfortunately,
explain that.
people get punished for being proactive. This world is
Yeah.
reactive. So nobody wants to do anything until something actually happens. And then they talk about what needs to be done. But the only way to prevent this is to be proactive.
Right.
And
So,
and of course that steps on people's toes, but it keeps people alive.
right. So now they get her into the interrogation room, and they could smell the putrid rot in the air. It was emanating off of her and her clothes. So much so that they had to bring in fans and deodorizers. Now, she speaks to the detectives and makes herself the victim instead of the perpetrator of all these horrific crimes that she just did. She shifts blames to her sister for leaving the kids with her, and so, I saw that as a weak ass attempt to be manipulative. She admits to beating them, and that went too far. That's what she admits to. But on top of that, she's just trying to explain herself away. But what was telling was the grandmother. And, what does this, first of all, I just want to know, everybody know, what does it say about society when we have, as a whole, when we have people who can do this type of stuff? You know what I mean? And I really am interested what the comment section will be after that. So drop your thoughts below and let us know about that. But the grandmother comes on television. And brother, let me explain what she said. She wished that both of her children, the mother and the aunt, get the death penalty. Think about that. Those children had lived with her for a while.
Right.
And she was that hurt that her adult children behaved in this way that she even brought in to the public knowledge. Hey, guess what? I wish both of my kids would be taken out of here. Powerful.
And understandable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very understandable. And again, you got to think about this other mother. Okay. How long had you say the child had been dead? The longest had been dead?
Over a year.
So that means for a whole year, she didn't inquire, where's my child?
Oh, the mother did?
She did?
Okay. Yeah. She did do that. The mother did. But these were attempts to go ahead and be like, how's my kids doing and everything like that. Nicole, she was being elusive. Okay. And they would give her some, ceremonial money here and there but nothing that could sustain the kids. But she was being elusive. And obviously, she wasn't holding up her kid. In fact, one of the texts that she got from the mother to Nicole was, I'm so glad you're taking care of my babies. They had been gone.
But she didn't ask to speak to him? She didn't say FaceTime me for over a year? You haven't seen or spoken to your child in a year?
My point.
Yes,
my
very
point,
odd.
just as you.
Yeah.
It was just out of control. You know what I
Right.
mean? You got no doctor's visits. You got no schools. I mean, the system, the system only works if someone's watching. And when the system closes its eyes, the kids die. Because this is the problem that we have, especially with Child Protective Services. They didn't investigate. Naturally, somebody saw all this stuff. There were red flags, as I said, all over the place. Neighbors didn't report anything, even though they saw it. And in Maryland, this is what pisses me the hell off. In Maryland, it's not just judges, school nurses, or school officials that have to report. It is the law for every single Marylander to report if they see abuse. Everybody dropped the entire ball on this. Everybody failed them.
I like that. Every state obviously doesn't have that law, but
Right.
that's a good law to make everyone a mandated reporter, since everybody doesn't want to get involved and everybody's into this ridiculous no snitching. So, no snitching is fine until something's happening to you or your family. You wish somebody would have said something.
Right. Now, this incident happened in 2021, okay? And why are we talking about it now? Well, what you just saw was the very first time where they just recently put out the police footage of this. Now, she was, for all intents and purposes, this year, she was sentenced to life, all but for a suspended sentence for 50 years, which essentially puts her at 85 or 86 years old to even sniff maybe parole. But it's a life sentence. Have no doubts about it. She's done from this point on. But you got to ask yourself, is this justice? I mean, we have to. These are the takeaways. One, the family doesn't mean safety. Okay, that just doesn't mean safety. Always vet your children's caregivers, even if they're family. Number two, when the system is silent, you must speak up, report these absences, ask questions, follow up, do something. These kids should have been saved. It didn't have to come to this point. And report any absences. Jesus Christ, report them. I mean, what's your thought?
Just this week, ironically, I was watching where they set up these scenarios just to see how people react. And they would have this child walking, a man would run and grab the child and run into the alley. And I was surprised at how many people looked and thought it was weird, but kept walking like, well, I'm not getting involved in that. Very few people stopped and was like, hey, what are you doing? And even if you're not going to confront the guy, which is fine because you don't know who's who, at least dial 911. At least, everyone's quick to take out their their phones and take pictures and cell phones of people fighting, or if they see the police do something. That would be a good time to take your cell phone out and start filming and dialing 911. But it was very interesting to see how many people, even though they saw a child get kidnapped, just kept walking like, I don't want to get involved in that. And I don't know what they're thinking. Are they thinking, well, maybe that's his father or whatever? But at the very least, they could have done, hey, look, I don't know if it's his father. I don't know what's going on. But y'all might at least want to come and check this out because I saw something that's suspicious. Check it out just in case, because you never can tell.
Right. That's going to do it for this episode of Hill of Justice. But I want people to remember, silence protects predators all day, every day. Your voice could have protected this child and other children that are in this situation. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts and debates about this subject. We'd like to thank you all for who continue to support us, me and Keith. And until later, we'll see you later.